The movie awards season happening right now, you might have heard of Parasite, a South Korean black comedy thriller that's been receiving a lot of nomination, praises, and also rewards as well. Directed by Bong Joon-ho, whose previous work includes Memories of Murder, The Mother, The Host, Okja, and Snowpiercer, Parasite follows the unemployed Kim family as they con their way into the lives of the wealthier Park family. And of course, it being a South Korean movie, there's naturally subtitles, but I hope this doesn't deter you from watching or trying to attempt to watch this movie. Director Bong said it eloquently when he said, once you overcome the 1-inch barrier of subtitles, you'll be introduced to so many different amazing films. If you've never watched a South Korean film, Parasite is a great first film to start because it hooks you right from the beginning and you can never be certain where it's going to take you. And that is the beauty of Parasite, because it is a wonderful blend of comedy, drama, suspense, horror, and thriller, with each scene building up onto the next, leading to a climax that you won't be expecting. But at this point you might be wondering, hey, isn't this a finance channel? Why is he suddenly talking about a Korean movie? There's actually 3 reasons why. The first reason is I want to promote this movie, not that it needs any more promotion. Second, I used to review movies in this channel, so I guess it's a bit of a throwback. And finally, third, the plot deals with the divide between the poor Kim family and the wealthier Park family. So in this video, I want to analyze Parasite with the theme of how money affects people and how the haves and the have-nots react to their different financial situations. And of course, there will be some spoilers ahead. Parasite, once again, revolves around the story about deception and naivety between 2 different socioeconomic classes. The poor Kim family consists of father Ki-taek, mother Chung-suk, son Ki-woo, and daughter Ki-jung. And the rich Park family is headed by Dong-ik, mother Yeon-gyo, daughter Ta-hae, and son Ta-song. To make it easier to follow, I'm going to refer to characters as, for example, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, not to be confused with Robert Kiyosaki's book, of course. Anyway, Poor Dad mentions to the family how the rich mom is nice despite being rich. But the poor mom is quick to correct him and say she's nice because she is rich. And that's true. Parasite doesn't portray the wealthier Park family as being greedy or taking advantage of the poor. Rather, they are the job providers of the Kims, and Rich Dad runs a company that employs hundreds or maybe thousands of people as well. Now, it's this point that had me comparing to another Korean movie called The Housemaid, where the maid is taken advantage of and abused by her upper wealthy family. It's the poor Kims who are the ruthless ones, who steps on other people in order to get what they need to in order to survive. Because when you are poor, your sole existence is to survive, not thrive, and it doesn't matter who you have to climb over to get where you have to be. And that's exactly what the Kims end up doing. First, the son is able to gain access by becoming the daughter's English teacher, and then they bring in the poor daughter as an art therapist, and then they devise a scheme to fire the current housekeeper and the driver so the poor mom and the poor dad can gain employment as well. In doing so, they ruin the previous employees' careers and they benefited from their downfalls. In this way, Parasite accurately portrays the hidden underbellies of society that the wealthier classes might not be used to or accustomed to. As the poor Kim family has shown, every day is a survival, and if you're not able to take advantage of those around you, then you're the one losing out. Like the poor father mentions during the movie, and in a world where 500 college graduates apply for a security job position, the Kims lied and bullied their ways into comfort. In today's society, we hear in the news about the widening wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots, but I always found it interesting how people direct animosity to the wealthy people. Of course, some people get there by nefarious means, but most of them don't. For example, let's talk about Jeff Bezos. As of recording this video, the world's richest man is currently worth $116 billion. People say, how is it fair that he has so much money for one person? What people fail to remember is that people are worth what they are able to bring to the table. Jeff Bezos created Amazon, which is an integral part of our consumer society, and in the process, he has created a lot of billionaires and millionaires, in addition to employing hundreds of thousands of people. And it is this resentment towards the wealthy that is portrayed very well by the poor dad. As the movie progresses, you see this resentment bubbling, and all begins with how he's not able to be and portray a strong father figure, because in the very beginning as well, It is up to his children, and it is their plan that enables him to get employment as a driver in the first place. In the start of the movie, there's this humorous scene where the son and the daughter are trying to connect to the free Wi-Fi because the neighbor upstairs, she apparently changed her Wi-Fi password. And rather than giving them any permanent solution, the dad simply says, just raise your phone higher. That way you get a stronger signal. This feeling of inadequacy by the poor dad is compounded when the poor mom says if Mr. Park found out that what they were doing, that poor dad, he's going to scurry away like a cockroach that he is. The sad part is the poor dad is actually a very caring person, as is evident when he asks the son, hey, do you think the driver that I replaced, if he found a better position or if he's working currently? However, this is quickly drowned out by the other Kims who are celebrating their conquest at conning the wealthier Parks. In a way, this also demonstrates the necessary ruthlessness of regular people if they wish to advance in their careers or in their lives. On the flip side, rich dad, Mr. Park, he takes control of his finances and his family's destiny. And even though it is the mom who hired the tutors, it is the rich dad's finances and money that's allowing his children to reap the benefit of better education, which will enhance their future successes, of course. This further illustrates the gap, not in just money, but of education and opportunities between the rich and the poor. One of Parasite's tagline, and the one that you'll hear about in the trailer, is when the poor dad tells his son, the best plan is to have no plan at all. And this is the best advice that the poor dad can muster, because he himself doesn't know where his life is going and he has never lived his life with any purpose. He can only offer this terrible advice to his own son. Life not going according to plan is a very lasting comparison that we get between poor dad and rich dad. While rich dad is able to provide and create opportunities, poor dad is just stringing along. Now in this part, we're going to get into some spoilers. After the Kims all secure positions and are partying it up in the Park's house, the fired housekeeper, she returns on a stormy night and reveals that she's been hiding her death-ridden husband in a secret bunker in the basement. The housekeeper discovers the Kim's lies and threatens to expose them by messaging the Parks. The Kims are able to overcome the housekeeper and husband and tie them up, and barely gets out before the Parks return home. The next day, the Parks hold a birthday party for their son, and the housekeeper's husband escapes, injuring the poor son, stabs the poor daughter in front of the Parks family and friends. Poor mom kills the housekeeper's husband, and poor dad stabs and kills rich dad. And in order to evade capture, the poor dad hides in a secret bunker, and the poor son vows and promises in a voiceover that he'll get rich and buy the house to free his dad. And what I found very interesting in the final scene was it was only the poor daughter who died at the hand of the housekeeper's husband. Because in the earlier scene, poor son tells his sister, hey, you actually look really good, like you fit into this wealthy household. She symbolizes the working class who have gained financial security but has to still be wary and be mindful of the jealousy of those that she have known in the past. But the key point is, even though you might be surrounded by riches and have escaped poverty, it doesn't mean that you're going to feel at ease and feel like you belong. During the birthday party, poor son asks rich daughter if he fits in, and even though rich daughter says, yep, you belong, you can see from the expression that the poor son doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe that he belongs there, even though outwardly he does appear to be of a wealthier class. And even in that final scene, when poor son tells his dad, I'm going to go out, make a lot of money, buy this house, so all you have to do is just walk on up. The final impression that the director leaves us with is his face. This face tells the audience that what he is saying might be true, but we are left uneasy. And even though in today's society a lot of working class people seek to escape the basement and walk up towards financial freedom, most of us already know that that's not always a possibility, that talking about making something happen doesn't always lead to it happening. In such a way, by analyzing the death of the daughter and also the son's uneasy expressions, you can tell that for working class people to get rich, you have to be careful of those around you. And even though you might outwardly look like you're rich, you don't feel like you belong. Just like the poor dad is stuck in his secret bunker at the end of the movie, Parasite does a lot of amazing things by symbolizing the settings that the events take place in. The poor Kim family lives in a semi-basement that is pretty common in South Korea, surrounded by urinating drunks, poor conditions, and even pests. And having lived in a semi-basement for so long, the Kims reek of this basement smell that they have grown accustomed to. But when they are together with the wealthier Park family, they notice. And this smell also tells us that even though you might change your appearance, you can't hide where you're from. You can't hide your poor situation. And while the Park's family lives in a massive mansion that allows all the sunlight to get in, enriching their lives, the Park family's semi-basement only allows sunlight in every once in a while. This also symbolizes the hope of escaping and going into a place where there's plenty of sunlight. But at the same time, we all have to remember that even in the wealthiest of mansions, there are basements and secret bunkers that are hidden from people. So even the rich have their own secrets that they're not letting on, that they might not even know about. So in all the ways that I've described and many more that I haven't, Parasite offers a lot of amazing social commentary into the lives that we live in. It beautifully depicts the resentment between the working classes and also the wealthier class, and also highlights the struggle and the constant fighting that the working classes go through in order to one-up each other to get closer to their wealthier status. Now, to keep this video short, I've skipped a lot of things. That's why I highly recommend for you to watch this movie. One of the main things I didn't touch upon was that night when the housekeepers come. It is raining like crazy, and when the Kims finally escape and get to their semi-basement, all that rainwater has flooded their semi-basement. On the flip side, the wealthier Parks, they wake up feeling refreshed and amazed at how all that torrential rain has gotten rid of all the pollution. So in another way, depending on where your status is and where you are in life, you can see one thing, like rain, differently. For the wealthier Parks, it is a way for them to enjoy the beautiful weather, the sunlight that comes the day after. But for the Kims, the rains only symbolizes financial hardship and more struggles because it forces them to leave whatever small thing that they have. And if you end up watching this movie, also pay attention to the landscape rock and how at first this is brought forward into the movie to symbolize a bringer of good fortune and wealth, but in the end it is simply used as just a weapon. Movies like Parasite allows us to dissect the characters and their motives and to feel through their actions, their language, and their emotions, and also reflect amongst ourselves of how we are in today's society. I hope you do get to enjoy this emotional roller coaster of a movie. And if you have already seen Parasite, leave a comment below of your thoughts, and if you have any breakdowns of your feelings and the symbolism in the movie. And if you haven't, I can't wait for you to experience this movie. Thank you so much for watching another video of mine, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more shenanigans in the future. That's all I have for today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Alright guys, bye.